But now, ladies and gentlemen, to officially open the evening's event, I am pleased to introduce to you Mr. Patrick Petit, representative of the Goy Peace Foundation.
Good evening, youth delegates and guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Goy Peace Foundation, which the foundation is proud to sponsor as a contribution to the 8th UNESCO Youth Forum. The Goy Peace Foundation, based in Japan, is an international NGO granted official relations with UNESCO. We have had the privilege to work closely with UNESCO in various youth empowerment programs, including events like this. Our joint annual program, International Essay Contest for Young People, received a record high of 15,000 entries from 157 countries this year. And today, we are delighted to be launching yet another joint program called the Youth Citizen Entrepreneurship Competition, together with UNESCO and Stiftung Entrepreneurship. Also, as you will see in one of the handouts placed in front of you, the Goy Peace Foundation will be co-organizing a youth conference in Japan next year as part of the UNESCO World Conference on Education for Sustainable Development. And we hope many of you will be interested in participating. We are strong believers in the innovative power and creativity of youth. They deserve our support and acknowledgement. Our event reinforces the idea that young people are not just leaders of tomorrow. No. Many young people demonstrate true leadership already, today. In this spirit, we wish you an inspiring evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Petit. Next, let us please welcome Ms. Pilar Alvarez Lasso, UNESCO Assistant Director General, to the stage for her remarks.
Hello. Thank you, thank you. Dear youth delegates, dear young participants, dear colleagues, dear friends, good evening to all of you. You continue to be at the center stage of the 8th UNESCO Youth Forum at this cultural event. We value the support that we get from the Goy Peace Foundation. This event has been entitled, not without poetry, you can see, Drumming for Youth Civic Engagement. As the evening advances, well, you will see why this title was chosen, but it has already kind of been introduced by Mr. Petit. He said, Mr. Petit, that youth civic engagement and social entrepreneurship, which are being the focus of this event, but have also been, as you know, the focus of our youth forum, counts on the inspiring stories that each one of you brings. But we will hear here, in this podium, we will hear the stories of 3 social entrepreneurs, 3 young leaders who, through their innovative ideas, seek for ways to improve the lives of their communities and of society in general. Whatever is their intervention in the societies, it is also welcome, it's always welcomed. It doesn't need to transform completely the societies, just one by one, step by step. We will get there. So these 3 young people that you will meet in a little while will show what they have done. Like other testimonies that you have seen, they have a special story to share with you. I would like already to welcome and congratulate Sofia Appelgren, Anjali Sakar, and Geronimo Calderon for their innovative spirit, their dynamism, and their engagement and commitment with their communities. Please join me with an applause for them. I do not want to make any speech here, so I'll cut it short. I'd like to stress that this evening will also highlight the long-standing and fruitful cooperation that UNESCO has had with the GOI Peace Foundation. As one example, GOI Peace supported the 7th UNESCO Youth Forum in 2011, and maybe several of you, I hope everybody, will be here later on for this flagship ceremony that they have already advanced to us. It is a very inspiring ceremony. I was privileged to be here on the 7th Youth Forum and to participate. Another example of the participation and of the collaboration that we have with GOI is what the Professor Faltin, founder of Stiftung Entrepreneurship, is going to present to you tonight in order to launch the Youth Citizen Entrepreneurship Competition as a joint program of the GOI Peace Foundation. Stiftung Entrepreneurship and our organization is going to launch this program, which aims to encourage young entrepreneurs to create positive change in their communities by helping solve key challenges. This is something that he has been doing for several years. So we are speaking here with a very experimented person in really going out and providing support to entrepreneurs, to young entrepreneurs. So whatever is your idea, if you have already been developing one and would like to seek further advice on how to proceed with it, do participate in this competition. It will be an open format. You are just echoing already what you have seen in this forum, in this new format of the Youth Forum in UNESCO, completely open, interactive, youth imagined, youth driven. So the winners will be selected online, and of course feedback will be provided. So I stop here, and I leave the floor to the 3 young social entrepreneurs which are among us tonight. So I will also just very quickly ask you again for an applause, this time for the GOI Peace Foundation. Thank you. Thank you, GOI Peace.
Thank you, Ms. Alvarez Lasso. Now we will hear some inspirational stories from 3 young social innovators who are making a difference in the world with their creative enterprises. Let us begin with Sophia Appelgren. Sophia is a social entrepreneur and an Ashoka Fellow. She founded her first company in Sweden at the age of 16. While studying communications at university, Sophia became a young parent. It was at this time that after a transformative personal experience, she decided to focus her considerable entrepreneurial skills and talents towards opening up the Swedish labor market to young women of an immigrant background, and therefore founded Mitt Liv. Sophia was duly honored in 2011 by the Swedish Chamber of Commerce, and she is quite definitely at the forefront of this type of entrepreneurship. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sophia Appelgren to the stage.
Thank you very, very much for this warmly welcoming. Just before I went here, I read through the papers and the expectations for my 10 minutes here today. And what was very clear is that my mission here today is to encourage and inspire you to become change agents. So I have a first question before I start my 10 minutes in here. How many of you in here see yourself as change agents? Please raise a hand. Yep, there are so many of you. That's great to hear. I will start off with a short movie before I move on. Agents of change, that's the theme of today. And there are famous change makers, and there are people just like you and me that change and impact our everyday life. And everyone has an important role to play for the whole. Victor Hugo, the famous poet, said once that nothing is stronger than an idea whose time has come. And I would love to add to this that the power of the human nature is unlimited. Because if you think of it, many of the barriers that we put up around us are failures from someone else's learnings. And once you accepted that fail is a learning, and the learnings are important to develop yourself and your idea, things will definitely start happening. And at the same time, giving inspiration is a pretty tough job, but I would like that you would bring something more with you here today, is that don't let the inspiration stay in this room. It's what you do with the inspiration. So bring the inspiration out from this room and start act after today. Because I believe that every single person in this room actually can do something. Everyone in this room has the chance to give impact and be part of changing the future of what you would like it to become. Steve Jobs said in a speech once that once we have become aware of that any idea that is around us is created by a person who is not smarter than you and me, your perspective of the world will never more be the same. And that could be worth giving a second thought. 2008, I started Mitt Liv, which means my life in English. Mitt Liv's objective is to work for increased diversity and integration into the Swedish labor market. What I knew at this time, with a father traveling all over the world, brother living overseas, and half my family in Turkey, is that the world of different cultures, religions, and way of living was given to me in a very early stage in life. And that this was the thing that made me really curious about life. I knew that new perspectives and differences lit a little light in me each time this reality came around. At the same time, I also remembered my disappointment growing up, see elder generations talk, act, and fear differences because of unknowledge. What I knew was that we need to meet to raise knowledge and fight prejudices. So with my baby under one arm and my notes under the other arm, I went to the board of our municipality and asked for advices. They said that they would never invest in a single initiative. Therefore, I got 5 names from business life that would be helpful. I called one person, and in the end of the meeting, they said, "We believe in you, your idea, and are ready to support you." A dream came true. And if someone gives you that chance, you want to give the double, 300% back. So this was the start of Mitt Liv. And what we need to understand before I go into what we really do is that why we are doing what we're doing. And why it is important, not only in Sweden, but in this case, Sweden, it is important to find new ways of improving integration and change attitudes around diversity in Sweden. Because the world is changing, Sweden is changing, and people are moving increasingly in the world. In Sweden today, it takes approximately 7 to 9 years from the time you come to Sweden until the time you have your first contact with the Swedish labor market. 7 to 9 years. In 2 years in Sweden, 20% of the population in working age have foreign background. At the same time, we know that 8 out of 10 jobs in our country goes to or via contacts. So the professional networks in our country to get a job is vital. Yeah. And according to recent statistics, Sweden and many of the Scandinavian countries are worst in Europe when it comes to cultural and social integration. So what is Mitt Liv then? Mitt Liv is a social enterprise, and our objective is to work for increased diversity and integration into the Swedish labor market. And since integration is about meeting halfway, our activities are directed towards both those who wish to enter the Swedish labor market, as well as those who are the ones who open the door into the labor market. Therefore, we provide a one-year free course and mentor program that is directed toward people with foreign background. And they receive a mentor for 1 year from some one of the companies or organizations that we cooperate with. And this gives a direct link into the Swedish working life. On the other hand, for the organizations that we work with today, we provide tools, methods, and professional training for increased diversity within their organizations. And our partnership program increases engagement and knowledge and awareness of the business benefits of diversity management. And we have gone in 5 years from the start, 2008, from a 100% sponsored organization to a 90% self-financed organization, which has been a crazy journey. And those are the companies that we work with today. And what we have noticed is that we are not dependent on any public funding today, which really creates a win-win-win situation, both for those who wish to enter the Swedish labor market through our mentor and course program, as well as our companies, but also, of course, the benefits for the society are, in the long term, enormous. And I must say that since the start, I met my fears. I've been forced to be brave, and I get learnings on how to be a leader from practice, and constantly develop so we are an organization of trust and to count on for everyone involved now and long term. And this picture is actually taken in Vermont a few weeks ago, in the middle of nowhere, and I was there together with Ben & Jerry's. Do you know Ben & Jerry's? Yep. Ben & Jerry's as one part of the prize Sweden's Best Social Entrepreneur 2013. And I had this, strong sense of humility, of that this hard work brings us here. It brings us all over. And it does make a change, not in a large scale today, but on an individual level, which is just as important for me. But many of the social enterprises that I meet today are facing the fact that how do we scale without compromising with quality? And that's still something that we are trying to solve. And integration is not a quick fix. And now we are looking on where we are heading at 2020. Hopefully we are not needed in 2020, but sadly the statistics and the development of our societies tells us something else. And back to my mission here today, I would like to give you a few words to bring with you out from this room and as tools so you can start act. And the first word is a word that means the world to me. Because if you find the key for this, it will give you an amazing power to break down barriers. Because if you are able to feel and react on another person's feeling, you will also know what shoes to stand in and start act and find solutions from that new perspective. And the word is empathy. The second thing is definitely do your things. I met so many wonderful experts and people that want to tell me how things are going to be. But learn from them, don't forget to go your own way. And don't go mainstream. And stay true to your values in every decision you take. And dare to fail. So a last question. Are you the change of the future to what you want it to be? Please raise a hand. Yes, all of you, hopefully. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you.
Our next speaker this evening is Anjali Sarko. Lack of sanitation is a big problem in Anjali's homeland of Bangladesh. She decided to do something about this major issue and started her project Toilet Plus, which offers a sustainable solution to sanitation problems that could potentially save millions of children from fatal diseases and improve the living standards of rural villages as well in the process. And Jolie has received many international awards with her project. She is also a first prize winner of the 2012 International Essay Contest for Young People, organized by the Goy Peace Foundation and UNESCO. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Anjali Saka to the stage.
Good evening, everyone. As you have already heard, my name's Anjali, but some people, some of my friends, they like to call me as Toilet Girl. Why is that? Because I, Anjali Sarkar, I am in love with toilets. So probably you are thinking, why on earth a person can can love toilets? That's insane. So today, I am going to share this extraordinary love story with you all. So it all started when I was very young, like I was 6 or 7 years old, and in our village where I used to live, very few households had their own toilets. And our house was one of those privileged one who had toilet. So what happened, I used to hate that toilet like anything. I used to hate that because that was full of odor, it was dirty, it was unhygienic, flies were hovering everywhere. I did not want to use that toilet, not at all, but I had to. Everyone has to, right? So what I did, at one day I thought, probably if I start drinking less water every day, probably I can use the toilet probably once a day and I will be just fine. So cool. So I did that, and turned out that was the most stupid decision I have ever made. Because after a while, my kidneys were almost damaged and I was hospitalized for a month. Not a very good decision at all. So I was lucky because my parents were wise enough to take me to the hospital and I had a proper treatment. That's how I survived, and that's why I'm here today. But a lot of children in Bangladesh, they are not as lucky as I was. So for a 7-year kid, toilet was really a trauma. And if you think about women who have to use the toilets like at night, they have to go there alone, it's a tremendous psychological pressure too, because they can get sexually harassed, they can get raped. If you think about the people who are disabled, it's very hard for them. If you think about the little kids, they are openly defecating here and there because there's no proper toilet, because the toilets are so unhygienic and so dirty, they just don't want to go there. So being a 7-year-old kid, I felt that it's not a toilet, it's a trauma. So, and that was a memorable experience for me, that how this unhygienic toilet sent me to hospital. So what I did about that, when I was in university, I had a course, Entrepreneurship, and all the students were asked to design a business plan. So when business students, usually they think about like designing a business plan or thinking about a business idea, we try to think about the problem first. So we were looking for a terrific problem, and guess what? I chose toilet. So I thought I have to work on toilet and make something that will not just be a toilet, but it will be something beyond sanitation. That's how I started Toilet Plus. So what is Toilet Plus? The plus symbol, actually it means it's a toilet that will provide you benefits beyond sanitation. And what's beyond sanitation? Turned out that a lot of people, they can afford toilets, but they do not use toilets because there's no motivation for using toilets. They are really poor, and sanitation, safety, hygiene, these fancy words do not mean anything to them. They have no value for it. In Bangladesh, it's also a cultural issue because the men and the children, it's normal, it's acceptable that you can defecate outside. So how do you deal with such a problem that has been there for generations after generations? So we thought, okay, think about from their perspective. Do not talk about safety, hygiene and all because they don't understand. Turned out that they were really poor people and the only thing that can motivate poor people is money. So we thought, why can't we give some financial incentive for using a safe sanitation, for using a safe toilet? So essentially what we did, we designed a toilet. We actually redesigned the toilet in a way that there's a storage under the toilet and it can store all the waste inside. And there's a solar panel, a tin panel behind the toilet. So it will help the waste to dry and sanitize very quickly. So what happened, this toilet plus, it will ensure that not a single gram of waste can go outside, can pollute the environment. So it's ensuring safety, it's ensuring better health for people, it's ensuring clear environment, but most importantly, the magic of Toilet Plus, that is, it's providing the users a never-ending source of income. How we are going to do that? So in the toilet, when we generate a lot of waste, we consider that it's useless, we just dump them. But we thought that, why can't we make something useful out of the waste? So we mixed human waste, the dried, decomposed human waste with organic waste and made compost fertilizer out of that. And the business model of Toilet Plus that gives the users a portion of an amount that you are actually selling your waste to us. So this is complicated, but to the poor villagers, we conveyed a very simple message, probably the most simple advertising message you have ever heard. To them, our message was, you can just shit and earn. It is as simple as you can think. The more you will use the toilet, the more waste will be produced, and the more you can sell to us. That's how you can earn more. So why defecate outside? It turned out to be really simple and funny, and even people who do not feel comfortable to use, to sit within a cluster space that we call toilet, they prefer to defecate outside. They also start, using the toilet more and more, because the more you use the toilet, the more you are going to earn. It's as simple as it can be. So it worked. It really worked. And this toilet, actually, you do not need to be a rocket scientist if you really want to do something. If you are thinking about social innovation, we did something. We turned a problem into an opportunity. We faced the problem. We saw how it affects people's lives, and we turned that into an opportunity that can actually pay them, that can motivate the poor people. A lot of organizations, they try to give free toilets, they try to give donations, this and that, but that never worked. Even I have went to places where some organizations, some big NGOs, they constructed a nice toilet, but the poor family, what they did, they actually closed the toilet portion and used that nicely built structure as a kitchen. Very smart, right? That's what happens when people get free things. But when you know how to motivate them, how to give them an incentive that really matters, then they start thinking like that. Okay, probably we should use this toilet because it's not only a toilet, it's a never-ending source of income that will never end. Thank you. So this is the person who inspired me a lot. Probably you know him, Professor Muhammad Yunus. So I was really inspired by his microcredit model and also the social business concept. I'm a business student, I studied finance, but as I told you before, it's a love story. I fell in love with toilets. It's not about business, it's about how you can bring innovation into reality. I saw a problem, I faced a problem, and I'm sure every single one present in this room, they have their own problems. You all have problems all around you, but a lot of times we prefer not to do something. Okay, there's a problem and it's okay, it's not affecting me. But if you do something with the problem, Every problem is actually a disguised opportunity. If you turn that problem into an opportunity, and as Professor Yunus said, if everyone does that, if tiny little things start happening, and if you do that with love, I will not say you can change the world, I will say you will change the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Anjali. Our third and final youth entrepreneur and speaker for this evening is Geronimo Calderon. His father is Bolivian and his mother is Swiss. Growing up in both cultures, he has always had great interest in reducing socio-economic disparities around the globe. Through his organization Euphoria, Geronimo is motivating young people to take action by branding citizen engagement as cool, trendy, and attractive. He is impacting thousands of young people across Switzerland and beyond. Geronimo has been nominated as a global shaper by the World Economic Forum, and he is a sought-after speaker on youth at international conferences. Let us welcome Geronimo Calderon to the stage.
Thanks. So, hello everyone. My name is Geronimo, and I was asked to do a presentation that is interactive, inspiring, shows a video, and lasts 10 minutes. So I was wondering what else I should do, like do it in a handstand or so. It is great job, Patrick. I got it. So I figured I'm just going to start with where I come from and why I do what I do. And it all started with a bottle of whiskey. It wasn't that particular brand, but it was a bottle of whiskey. Actually, to be honest, there were a few of them. And it was me and a couple of friends sitting around the table, and you might know it, concerned about the world, the state of the world, discussing about how we could change things. And around midnight, we would have managed to reform the UN, so suddenly it would be terribly efficient. 1 a.m., climate change, yeah, it felt pretty good. 1 a.m., we solved climate change. 2, sometimes it took us until 3 in the morning. We won the Peace Nobel Prize because we put an end to the conflict in Israel-Palestine. And yeah, I'm proud to say that we saved the world on multiple occasions. The only issue was the morning thereafter. Huge hangover. And what happened is that at one point I just get really fed up with ourselves, because I realized that we're just a bunch of cynics, fatalists, and know-it-alls, you know, changing the world in words but not really doing anything. And what is funny is I realized that we're not alone. In Europe, statistics show that there are up to 70% of our generation, the 16 to 30-year-olds, who say, hey, I'm connected to the world, I know what's going on, and I care. Whether it's human trafficking, climate change, poverty, racism, all these things, I would like to do something. The problem is that the same survey shows that only 12% are actually walking the talk. So I realized I'm not the only guy who prefers blah, blah, blah to action. And it struck me because I was like, wow, there's 58% of young people out there who pretend they would like to do more, but they're not. So this means a huge potential is being wasted at the moment in terms of creativity, innovation, motivation, time, ideals of our generation. I mean, our youth has historically been at the source of innovation, and we're just letting it rot. And we started asking ourselves, how come? And how come we're not more engaged as a generation? And we realized that in the same time as media is a chance, because it's showing us all those things that are going on, it also shows us, it pictures a world that is doomed to Armageddon. Basically, in 30 years, it's the end of the world, so why would we even bother doing something? Another problem is that society devalorizes us constantly. It tells us, you know, you're young, stupid, hedonistic, you don't have any skills and zero experience, so why are you trying to tell us how to change the world? And commitment has a deep-rooted image problem. You know, when I was thinking of engagement, I was picturing the guys with the sandals and woolen socks who go and hug trees, or the other extreme, those you see in the media, you know, who go and burn cars. And frankly, that just didn't talk to me. So we figured we need to do something about that, and that's where Euphoria comes into play. So what we're doing is we say we need to do outreach. You know, these 58%, they have a latent demand. This means they don't actively go and look for these things. You need to go and look for them. So what we do is the first thing we say is we need to change the image, and we need to bring in the fun factor again. So what we do are plenty of different activities, as for instance, flash mobs, and now we're going to see if the video works. Thanks a lot. So this was just a very short impression of one of the many flash mobs that we did. They don't always need to make a lot of sense, but they need to get young people together. And basically here there actually was a meaning behind it. I don't know if you saw the initial statement. There was silence is the most dangerous sound. And we used that in a campaign where we asked on young people to make the step from complaining and voicing that anger to actually turning it into something concrete that you can do. So we do, you know, sticker actions, et cetera, et cetera. We massively use social media to create a buzz. We go into universities, make a lot of presentations. We, in average, talk to 1,000 young people to convince one to come to one of our events. It's a huge effort, but we believe that's where what's worth it, because we tap on the potential that is unused at the moment. We also mobilize a large network of youth ambassadors. We have over 300 volunteers working with us, because what really makes a difference is when a young person, your friend, comes to you and tells you, hey, Geronimo, don't look at that program of that organization. Just go there. Come with me. Then even a cynic will dare to go and check it out. And then, so that's 50% of our work, and the other 50% is organizing extraordinary events. Where we say there are plenty of conferences where it's, again, blah, 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 we're talking about how bad the state of the world is. We prefer events where you experience what it means to be a change maker, where you learn directly from people what you can do, how you can turn your ideas into action and make a difference. So that's it, and that's how we manage to mobilize young people. We've developed several projects by now, or tools that we use for that. The Step into Action is for 15 to 18-year-olds who are still in high school, where they play a game over 3 hours, where they earn points, and that they can turn into a donation to a school project that they have for sustainable development. And in the same process, they get connected to 20 to 30 concrete opportunities in their local communities, make a difference. Act Now connects students with existing opportunities to make a difference. Impact is a 4-day event where you go from, I would like to do something, to creating a new innovative idea, building a team around it, pitching it to a jury, and then implementing the project or taking parts of it back to your life as to change your lifestyle. The Changemaker Network is throughout the year little happenings and events where you can connect with other young people who are already making a difference. And we have 2 new services, one for universities and one for companies, where we basically do exactly the same, we just charge them a lot of money. And what is particularly interesting is the thing for the companies, because this is actually the first time that I speak to, at a conference to young people. Usually I have to speak to old people. And although usually they don't listen, what is interesting is afterwards, you know, at the bar, a few of them then come and you start talking with them, and we should do a survey, but I think the results would be almost the same. You know, 70% who say, yeah, I would like to do something too, you know, when I used to be young, I was an idealist and here and there, but there are only 12% who are really doing it. And so what we do is we invite these executives, and these are top-level people who manage thousands of people, have millions of budgets below them, to come to our events, co-create social businesses with the young people, not in order to teach or to learn the young people how to do it, but to learn from them how we are still crazy and unreasonable enough to imagine a world that can work differently. How we lead, not through disciplinary measures by intimidating our peers that they will be fired if they don't do the job, but through values, through purpose, through vision, through mission. And yeah, it's fun because they pay us for it. And it actually works. It's interesting to see what they actually bring back to their companies and change in there. So a very quick overview. We founded Euphoria when we were 22, back in 2007. It was a long series of failures. We had to postpone our first event 5 times. And then at the end of 2008, we managed to organize our first event. And since then, it has kept growing. And the great thing about it is that we make an evaluation 6 months after our events, where we ask the participants, so honestly, participating in that event, did it really change something for you? And there are an average 50 to 70% of them who respond, yes, I actually started turning my ideas into actions. I got more involved in society. And they do that in many, many different ways. A few actually really launch own social entrepreneurship initiatives. Many of them start volunteering for organizations they got to know. And most of them start changing their lifestyle because they realize I don't need to go and change the world all by my own because it's a bit heavy, you know, it's a bit big. I can change my world. I can start by that. And that's what essentially Euphoria is about. We want to have that mind shift in our generation, realizing that we have the power to change things. We don't need to start very, very big. We can start small, and we need to stop pointing at others and blame all those corrupt politicians, you know, greedy businesses, etc., etc. We can start pointing at ourselves and asking us, why tomorrow and not today? And it has been growing steadily, so just to give you an impression of these 3,500 youth we've reached out to in the past 6 weeks, we reached out alone in the past 6 weeks to 1,500 youth. We had a first pilot in Peru where 500 young Peruvians were empowered through our program. So we're growing very fast now and are really trying to scale it through an open source model. So if any one of you is interested in learning how we do that, we're developing now and are looking for young people across the world who want to co-create with us the tools so we can offer to you the methods that we're using. And also social franchising model for those who actually would do it as Euphoria and who would like to get trained and get further support from us. And we're preparing, we have people interested in Colombia, France, and Belgium for a second pilot next year. We're 14 employees now, 6 interns. We have offices in 3 different cities in Switzerland. And I'm telling you all of this not because I'm a narcissist, but because I started when I was 22, when I had 0 experience. I really was, Euphoria basically is a self-help group for me, because I never did anything. I was always very angry and upset about the world due to this binational background that I had and knowing how privileged I am. I always wanted to do something, but I never really did something. So I had 0 experience. I failed multiple times in the beginning, and I never dreamed that it would become that big, and neither that it will become even bigger. So that's basically my message here, connected to the fact that even money starts flowing now. We have an annual budget this year of $1 million, and we're expected to grow tenfold over the next couple of years. Since we've seen him already before, it's interesting. This quote, you can turn it into a definition of what insanity is. Insanity is when you try to solve the problem with the same tools or the same thinking that have created it. And I'm telling you, our world is insane at the moment. The places I go where apparently there are decision makers, these are all white men over 50 years old, and they're discussing together as to how they're going to fix the problems that they've created themselves. You know how old Albert Einstein was when he published his theory of relativity? Anyone? Yes? 25, actually. He was 25 years old. Mahatma Gandhi and Nelson Mandela were 25 years old when they started getting involved in the causes that they believed in. Mark Zuckerberg was 19 years old when he founded Facebook. Jesus Christ, what are we waiting for? Thank you. And in case you're interested, just shoot me a mail. We'll stay in touch. Rock on.
Thank you, Geronimo, for that very stirring presentation. Now we would like to introduce a new and exciting opportunity for young people, namely the Youth Citizen Entrepreneurship Competition. I would like to ask Professor Günther Faltin to tell us about this program. Professor Faltin is well known for promoting a new culture of entrepreneurship and for supporting young people to become innovative entrepreneurs. His organization, Stiftung Entrepreneurship, hosts the annual Entrepreneurship Summit in Berlin and is one of the 3 founding partners behind this new competition, along with UNESCO and the Goy Peace Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Professor Günther Faltin.
When I talk to my students, young or old ones, they all talk about unemployment. Why is nobody going to help them, offer them a job? I think there's a good reason for that. At least in Europe and most countries in the world, at the moment we have low growth or no growth at all. And we have governments with a lot of national debt. So the situation that we can expect something substantially to change in unemployment is quite unrealistic. So we have to look for something else. The problem, in my experience, is that people have the wrong perceptions. They have the thoughts of the past. We need capital. We need business administration. We need some portion of recklessness. We need to be male and expensive and so on. I think that's all wrong. The situation for entrepreneurship is quite different than it was even 5 or 10 years ago. Capital is no longer the bottleneck. Actually, with internet, with components that you can use, open source, there is a chance that you can create your own company, and I call it brainchild. Create your own brainchild with just ideas, with thinking about what are you going for, what are you shooting for, what is the cause you want to go for. The old economy was something that you had to create everything yourself. A building, machinery, an office, logistics, and so on. Nowadays, you can go with what I call components. It's like bricks for a building. And you can get accounting from outside in a professional way. No need to think about accounting and this type of business administration. You can have an office in a professional way that you pay less for than if you create that office by yourself. You make a first mistake with renting the place, you make a second mistake with choosing the people, always choose your friends or your partners, is not a good thing, and you should do it in a professional way. And if the argument is, I cannot pay for professional services, I always answer, if you don't use professional service, try it with unprofessional one. You will all know that this is becoming much more expensive than anything else. So if we talk about entrepreneurship, we are not talking about capital, we are not talking about business administration, we are not even talking about organizing a big kind of thing. Remember Ingvar Kamprad, the famous founder of the Swedish company IKEA, which is a worldwide, very efficient organization. He himself says, I'm a catastrophic organizer, I'm not good in organizing. So when we talk about entrepreneurship, we have to go for our strengths, not for our weaknesses. And what are we going to do with the weaknesses? We employ other people for that. The eminent advantage of being an entrepreneur is that you can choose people for your weaknesses and stay with your strengths. So it's about going for a cause. It's about passion. If you want to summarize entrepreneurship with one word, it's about passion. It's about go for a cause and go it for some time. And the only thing that we found out in research about entrepreneurship that really counts is perseverance. You have to stay with it. There's a famous sentence from Winston Churchill: if you go through hell, and you will go through hell at some times with your own company or your organization or whatever it is, if you go through hell, keep going. Perseverance is something that really counts. And you can do a lot of things. You can go in business. There's a lot of things that you can do better if you go it on your own and with your own ideas than all these big companies are doing. And you can go for social entrepreneurship. And we had wonderful examples just now. And there are so many chances for innovative projects that certainly all of you can find something that makes his or her heart beat for that issue. And we know that there are so many problems economically, ecologically, socially, that there's a lot to do, and we need people to pick it up and not go along the same way as we did it before. What about the competition that we initiate? It's not really a competition, it's empowerment. Behind the competition is just the entertainment, is a kind of tuning you in with the issue. It's not about lecturing, but it's a campus, and the campus aims to do something, for example, role models. We have a lot of articles, we have online training programs, and I interviewed a lot of entrepreneurs, successful ones and not successful ones, to find out what are the turning points that they experience in their lives. That's the website that we did, and we have a video that I would like to share with you that explains a little bit about the details of the competition.
Many young people all over the world have great ideas how to make the world a better place. For that reason, the Youth Citizen Entrepreneurship Competition has been established as a joint partnership program between Stiftung Entrepreneurship, the Goy Peace Foundation and UNESCO. The Youth Citizen Entrepreneurship Competition is an exciting new opportunity to develop your innovative ideas and projects to create positive change in your community and the world. With support and feedback from peers around the world and experts in entrepreneurship, you can turn your passion for a better world into reality. You can participate in the competition if you are between the ages of 15 and 30. Go for a course, work on an idea, create an entrepreneurial concept, which contributes to the sustainable development in a field such as the environment, education, health, poverty reduction, peace building, cultural diversity, sustainable energy, food security, sustainable trade, the elderly, empowerment of women and youth. All entries must be submitted in English. All entries will be reviewed by the competition administrators and will be evaluated and nominated based on the following criteria, among other factors: entrepreneurial vision, feasibility, for example, relatively low capital investment requirement, innovation, leadership, social impact, for example, ecological benefit, sustainability, scalability, the application can be multiplied. Stage and type of enterprise will also be taken into account. If an entry does not pass the screening, the applicant will have a chance to brush it up and submit it again. This way, everyone can submit ideas and learn how to work on their ideas and make them better. All participants will receive free training at the online entrepreneurship campus. This training provides methods and techniques for developing ideas into solid business models, to turn a budding idea into a fully developed concept, or to improve on an existing business model. Entries that pass the preliminary screening will be nominated and published on the competition website. Entries are accepted from November 2013 until June the 30th, 2014. Once an entry is nominated and published online, it can be viewed, voted and commented on. The 10 entries receiving most votes in each of the 2 categories, existing projects and ideas, will be considered as finalists. From among the finalists, the judges will make the final selection of 3 winners: grand prize, second prize and third prize in each category. In addition, the People's Choice Prize will be given to the entry with the largest number of votes in each of the 2 categories. The Grand Prize winners and the People's Choice Prize winners will be invited to the award ceremony during the Entrepreneurship Summit in Berlin in October 2014. Here, they will present their ideas and activities to an international audience. Sign up today, nominate ideas, businesses or projects, and take the free online courses on how to create and develop great entrepreneurial ventures. www.youth-competition.org. With your innovative ideas and leadership, we will tackle some of the key challenges of today and offer a model of the entrepreneurial potential that will fuel our future.
So make use of the competition, join our entrepreneurial campus. Let's allow our ideas to shape a better world. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Faltin. It certainly does sound like a great opportunity that we should all take advantage of. Now, for the final part of the program, we invite all of you to take active part in the World Peace Flag Ceremony. This is a celebration of the unity of the human family. It has been presented in many countries around the world, at the UN General Assembly, and at other international forums. The ceremony brings together people of all cultures to express our common wish for peace to prevail in each and every country of the world. We welcome back the drummers from the Tsunagari Taiko Center, and to explain to you how the ceremony works, here is Nicole Cressiot.
Hello everyone, bonjour. Hello. We've just heard some extraordinary, inspirational speakers, young entrepreneurs, and I think that all of you here are definitely the seeds of the next generations of young entrepreneurs and wonderful programs, projects to launch the new earth and the new century that I think we all want to build together. And I believe deeply that the deepest wish of humanity is really a wish for peace. Peace begins with us, in the heart of each and every one of us. And I think that we're all responsible to start there, just in our hearts, to start to not look at our friends, at our countries, our whatever, our surroundings as different as the enemies, but just as our brothers and sisters, and to create unity together. So today, we are going to perform a ceremony for world peace, which, as Alex was saying, has been celebrated in many places all over the world. And so now it's your turn to really create together, right now, this energy of peace, a space of peace that we are going to send and vibrate to the whole world. Through the message, very simple, may peace prevail on earth, and may peace be in each country of the world. It is like an elevation for each country. So the ceremony is very simple, and today we'll have some wonderful music to accompany us, and it will be speedy and energizing, and it requires your strong voice and your energy and your heart. The two voice leaders here, Rebecca and Ashish will call out the names of each country of the world. And what I would like for you to do is simply repeat in a call and response style after them the name of the country, and just put all your energy there, all your heart, all your love, all your peace for each country. Regardless of what flag is on your desk, you all have a paper flag, which, by the way, you're welcome to take home with you. Just raise the flags, you know, even if it isn't yours, it's okay. Please, just raise your flag as the names of the countries are being brought up, okay? So we really, and we need your enthusiasm in there, okay? Here's Rebecca.
So before we start, I want you all to say, may peace prevail on earth.
Prevail on earth.
So, I will start. Afghanistan. Albania. Algeria. Louder. Andorra. Angola. Antigua and Barbuda. Argentina. Armenia. Australia. Austria. Azerbaijan. Bahamas. Bahrain. Bangladesh. Barbados. Belarus. Belgium. Belize. Benin. Bhutan. May peace prevail on earth.
Prevail on earth. Bolivia. Bosnia-Herzegovina. Botswana. Brazil. Brunei Dar es Salaam. Bulgaria. Burkina Faso. Burundi. Cambodia. Cameroon. Canada. Cape Verde. Central African Republic. Chad. Chile. China. Colombia. Comoros. Congo. Cook Island. May peace prevail on earth.
Costa Rica. Côte d'Ivoire. Croatia. Cuba. Cyprus. Czech Republic. Democratic People of Korea. Democratic Republic of the Congo. Denmark. Djibouti. Dominica. Dominican Republic. Ecuador. Ecuador, yes. Egypt. El Salvador. Equatorial Guinea. Eritrea. Estonia. Ethiopia. Fiji. May peace prevail on earth.
May peace prevail on earth. Finland. Gabon. Gambia. Georgia. Germany. Ghana. Greece. Guatemala. Grenada. Guinea. Guinea-Bissau. Guyana. Haiti. Honduras. Hungary. Iceland. India. Indonesia. Iran. May peace prevail on earth.
Iraq. Ireland. Israel. Italy. Jamaica. Japan. Jordan. Kazakhstan. Kenya. People Democratic Republic, Latvia, Lebanon, Lesotho, Liberia, Libya, Lithuania, Luxembourg. May peace prevail on earth.
Peace prevail. Madagascar, Malawi, Malaysia, Maldives, Mali, Malta, Marshall Islands, Mauritania, Mauritius, Mexico, Micronesia, Monaco, Mongolia, Montenegro, Morocco, Mozambique, Myanmar, Namibia, Nauru, Nepal. May peace prevail on earth.
Netherlands, New Zealand, Nicaragua, Nigeria, Norway, Oman, Pakistan, Palau, Palestine, Panama, Papua New Guinea, Paraguay, Peru, Philippines, Poland, Portugal, Qatar, Republic of Korea. May peace prevail on earth.
May peace prevail on earth. Republic of Moldova, Romania, Russia, Rwanda, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, Samoa, San Marino, Sao Tome and Principe, Saudi Arabia, Senegal, Serbia, Seychelles, Sierra Leone, Singapore, Slovenia, Slovakia, Solomon Islands, Somalia. May peace prevail on earth.
South Africa, South Sudan, Spain, Sri Lanka, Sudan, Suriname, Swaziland, Sweden, Switzerland, Syrian Arabic Republic, Tajikistan, Thailand, the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, Timor-Leste, Togo, Tonga, Trinidad and Tobago, Tunisia, Turkey, Turkmenistan. May peace prevail on earth.
May peace prevail on earth. Tuvalu, Uganda, Ukraine, United Arab Emirates, United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, Tanzania, United States of America, Uruguay, Uzbekistan, Vanuatu, Venezuela, Vatican, Vietnam, Yemen, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Aruba, British Virgin Islands, Cayman Islands, Curacao, Faroes, Macau, Saint Martin, Tokelau. May peace prevail on earth.
For you to do now, we're going to bring the United Nations flag. Great, okay. So with this flag, first we'd like to offer the message also for all other countries and regions of the world and all the indigenous nations of the world and all the living things on this planet. So, together, may peace prevail on earth. May peace prevail on earth. May peace be in all the other regions and countries of the world. May peace be in all the other regions and countries of the world. May peace be in all the indigenous nations of the world. May peace be in all the indigenous nations of the world. And for all living things on this planet, may peace be with all the living things on this planet.
Peace be with all the living things on the planet.
And together, 3 times, may peace prevail on earth. 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 And come to the stage with your flags. Transcending all differences, we're together, united, no enemies. So together we bring this world together in harmony, in love. Hi, you all forgot a country.
And show your leadership, and show your passion, and show your love for your country, but also for humanity. I thank you so much. I thank you for being here, despite of your busy schedule, despite that you are all very tired, you came here. And this is very honorable, and this is really wonderful, and we are extremely pleased that you are here and demonstrate your passion. I would also like to particularly thank UNESCO for having us given the opportunity to hold this event here, to UNESCO leaders, all UNESCO youth, former youth section, as well as the drummers, Kola, Ayuko, and Midori, who have played the taikos today. Thank you so much. We are very grateful to Professor Faltin for his presentation, for the 3 youth, young entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, Sofia, Anjali, and Geronimo. And also, we are particularly very grateful to Nicole. And a special thanks to our Master of Ceremonies, our good friend Alexander Mantegazza, who lead us through that evening. Thank you so much, Alex.
My pleasure,
Applause.
Patrick.
Applause to all volunteers, also people from the sound technicians, from the lighting technicians, as well as our interpreters who translated from French into English, from English into French, and as well all volunteers and people dedicated to that, to making that evening a success. And let me wish you, all of you, a wonderful evening, a restful night, and a tomorrow very successful, empowering conference. And when you go back to your home countries, I hope you come with these beautiful memories you had here at UNESCO, and that you bring all this inspiration, all your energy back to your country to create a sustainable and peaceful world for all of us. Because we all believe in you. You are the leaders of today, and you demonstrate your leadership, your passion, and your love.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.